You know, one of my favourite parts of the morning. Tell us, the French papers, they're still very much looking at Hollande's spring cleaning.
That's right. Hollande has been very busy dusting off the shelves. He's been making a lot of changes since those municipal elections last month. A new prime minister, a new government, a new leader of the Socialist Party. But as you can imagine, not everybody's happy about it. Let's take a look at the right-leaning paper, Le Figaro. They take a look at the changes that have drawn an outcry, not only just from the right, but also from the left. Now, the most controversial decision Hollande has made was to nominate Harlem Désir, so nominate him, make him change his job, make him no longer the head of the Socialist Party. He is now the state secretary for European Affairs, so major promotion there for Harlem Désir. But the thing is, he's quite a controversial character. He didn't have a great reputation as the leader of the Socialist Party. Critics say he turned the party into an empty vessel, and then they're saying he just led that party to one of the worst electoral defeats in their history. So why promote him? Now, on top of that, Le Figaro takes a look at the fact that he is now in charge of European affairs. But the thing is, he's been a European deputy for about 15 years, and he doesn't have a great track record when it comes to his attendance at the European Parliament. So Le Figaro says this says a lot about Hollande's disregard for Europe.
Yeah, there's some things about politics I just don't get. But tell us, what is the left-leaning paper saying about this?
Well, the left isn't so happy with all these changes that Hollande has made either. They feel like, for instance, the fact that Manuel Valls is the new prime minister, they think he's a little bit too right-wing for their liking. He's quite a cheerleader for austerity. So there's going to be a big demonstration tomorrow in Paris by the far left. They're calling for a new policy that isn't austerity. So Libération, the left-leaning paper, wonders, is another policy, is it actually possible? Now, Libération takes a closer look at this far-left demonstration and points out that it's kind of a hodgepodge of various parties. They have very different strategies, no common ideology, but they are calling for this alternative to austerity. And in its editorial, Libération says there are alternatives to the economic policies that Hollande has chosen. For instance, policies that focus on boosting purchasing power, for instance, and not being a slave or a puppy dog to Brussels and their budget straitjacket. So Libération says there are all sorts of alternatives, and these alternatives are gaining ground, and perhaps that's what we'll see at the demonstration tomorrow.
Well, turning now, Florence, to France's work ethic, which I have to say I've noticed has been getting articles in the international press. I saw The Guardian reporting that officially we're actually not meant to check our email after 6 p.m. So this is something I really need to take on board.
Well, this is exactly what Rue 89 is taking a look at, these articles about France's work ethic. The return of French bashing. Oh my God, says Rue 89. We're no longer allowed to check our emails after 6. But are these articles just maybe following some rumors, wonders Rue 89? Basically, all these articles came after there were claims that the Employers Federation and unions had signed a legally binding labor agreement with this obligation to disconnect after 6 p.m. And this led to all sorts of outrageous articles that work after 6 p.m. had been banned. But Rue 89 takes a closer look at the actual situation. Sure, there was a deal that was made, but this is not a formal law. It doesn't specify at what time employees need to stop checking their email, and it doesn't concern everybody. So these papers got a little bit, they went a little bit too far. And calm down, people will continue to work after 6 p.m. I can tell you that certainly happens here at France 24. But if we take a look at another paper, this time in Aujourd'hui en France, it takes a closer look at work and what it means for people's health. It makes you fat. That's what Aujourd'hui en France says. This is according to a new study. Over 50% of employees say they've gained weight since they were hired. Basically, they're glued to their chairs, they don't have time to exercise, and they stress eat. Those are the main problems, according to Aujourd'hui en France. But it points out that more and more companies are encouraging their employees to exercise because it's in their interest, says this study. If workers exercise, for instance, it cuts the rate of extension by 30 to 40%. So it's actually in the interest of companies for their workers to work out.
I promise to go run if I have more time off. I do. Finally, Florence, quickly, there's a technology fair being held here in Western France.
That's right. That's in Laval. It's called Laval Virtual. It's being held until Sunday. It's the biggest fair dedicated to virtual reality. So Le Parisien takes a look at these new technologies that are going to change our lives. So what are the highlights? Well, there are, of course, the Google glasses that William was telling us about, a teleporting robot, a total immersion video game. That sounds really cool. But my favorite one is a teddy bear that's actually a robot. It's a very lifelike teddy bear that gives you hugs and interacts with you. It sounds like every kid's dream come true.
Yeah, but can't replace a person, can it? But anyway, thanks very much, Florence, for that French press review, where we're just about to take a quick break. But don't forget, coming up in focus, we're going to be patching up sore relations with Mexico. François Hollande will be signing over 30 contracts there. Our reporters take a closer look at new ties with the French aeronauticals industry.